2. There it goes. We are live. All right, guys. Hey, thank you for being here. If you are out there watching us, please let us know where you're at. Leave a comment. We'll be making sure to highlight a number of comments through today's live broadcast. As you guys can see, I've got some special guests here. We've got Steven over at the Salon Guy, over on the East Coast, representing the East Coast. Best Coast, right? Maybe?
East Coast.
Yeah, East Coast. But if you haven't seen his channel, amazing when it comes to styling your hair. He's one of the OGs on YouTube, been on since like 1945. So next up, we've got Brock over at The Modest Man. And if you look for any type of information about how to dress, you know, and if you're under 5'7", 5'6", you know, you have a slender wrist, this is the channel you want to check out. And then we have Bryan over at He Spoke Style. So he shamed me so badly because every time I go to his website, I'd be like, damn, he's got his, I mean, just the way you present yourself on your videos and everything. And yeah, just been a big inspiration and love what you do. And yeah, so He Spoke Style. If you are looking to learn about, you know, anything with high-end watches, you want to just, and we're going to rib you about, you know, getting rid of that Nautilus. You know,
go for it.
Yeah. Especially you sold it too soon, right?
A little, yeah. Hindsight, right? You know what they say.
Yeah, yeah. What can you do about that? But no, we've got some great people out there. So again, guys, let us know where you're from. Leave a comment down below, and we'll make sure to you know, bring you guys up here and just be able to ask some questions. See Kevin Hawthorne out there. We've got Dallas, Texas representing Scott. We got Alan over in Columbus, Ohio. Boom! Look at that. We've got some. There was somebody screaming Airborne. Steve, I think actually I've got the air. I think got my Airborne headsets in. So my, you know, Marine, occasionally we support the Army. My brother's Army EOD. So
all American.
That's right. All right, guys. So now I think maybe we'll talk a little bit about the channels and stuff, what we've been doing. I mean, Steven, you've been here the longest. Maybe you can talk a few minutes just about like how you even found YouTube and I mean, your story about getting started. You shared this, I remember when because we met a few months ago over on, what was it, that app that used to be popular, Clubhouse. And I think both of us jettisoned it after we realized it was a time suck. But no, you told your story over there a bit in 2011, right?
Yeah. But actually 2010, 2011.
2010.
I mean, after I graduated high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and I had a crush on a girl who worked at a hair salon, and I said, I want to meet that girl, so let me go into the hair salon and see if I can meet her. It turns out that it wasn't a good match, let's just say that. And they said, "Are you a hairstylist?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I just graduated high school. I'm looking for a job. I'll take out the trash." And they introduced me to the industry, and ever since then, it was that's how I got into the industry. Went to cosmetology school for 2 years, worked at a salon for a number of years during that period, put my time in. And then I actually left the business and I wanted to become a hero. And, you know, I went to law enforcement, firefighting. Then after 9/11, I got out and went back into the beauty industry. I was adopted at a very young age. My mother had passed away. I said, I want to do something in her memory. Between that, going on YouTube and learning about Gary Vaynerchuk, reading his book, Crush It, taking that, putting myself out there, following everything step by step. I created the Salon Guy, started putting out videos about like business, and people said, "You cut hair?" And I said, "Who the hell wants to watch a bald guy cut hair on the internet?" So clearly a lot of people did, and that's what got me started. And ever since, I've been just grinding nonstop. And now, you know, I've got my YouTube channel, I have my own hair care company, and that's really the main I'm an author as well, and that's kind of the main focus of my brand, the Salon Guy, is it's just expanding the product business and growing my YouTube channel.
Yeah. So. Well, I see we got a lot of people out there. Dom, maybe if you can quickly just make sure that you get some of those comments out there. But everyone had a crush on a hairstylist, all named Tiffany. Is that true? Is that true?
Her name wasn't Tiffany, but yeah, there's always some hairstylists that the male clientele tends to like here and there.
Yes. Yes. I think.
Is anybody using Clubhouse anymore? Are you guys on Clubhouse?
I'm not.
I made an account, but honestly, I've never used it.
Yeah, it really changed from what it was. I mean, when I initially got on, there were some heavy hitters on there, and it was easy. And I think, unfortunately, it's one of those things like it's a party in the early days when you notice like there's all these VIPs there, and then all of a sudden you have a lot of people that join it, and it sounds bad, but all of a sudden it dilutes the ability, and the VIPs kind of jettison, and all of a sudden you realize that everything's ruined by marketers. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I did use Clubhouse, made some great connections, but then I just said it was actually clouding my vision, and I was listening to so many different people when it comes to business and this and that, and I got like, it was just driving me mad, man. It was everything about Clubhouse, and what people are saying, and do this, do that, and I said, I can't take this anymore. It was like toxic. So I haven't been on in like a couple of months. So,
I mean, that's always the way it is. Sorry, Brock. Go ahead. No, I always feel like that's the way it is when new apps come out. Everyone's like, oh, got to do it. Get on Clubhouse, get on TikTok, get on whatever, Snapchat. And then everyone sort of jumps to that lily pad. But, you know, I really feel like doing what we do, you have to kind of pick and choose. You can't do everything. And you got to figure out what your favorite channels are that you like to work on. You know, that's most important. What do you like to do, and what do you love to do, and what brings you joy to actually create, not just doing something because you feel like you have to, because you could put a lot of eggs in one basket and then all of a sudden, like, poof, it's gone. Like, is anyone on MySpace anymore? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Totally. Yeah. For some reason with Clubhouse, the hype happened so aggressively that was one of them that I was having serious like FOMO when it first came out. I was like, do I have to be on this? Like, am I missing the rocket ship here? And I created an account, never used it. And, it died down. And I think that's like, I have to like remember that the next time, because it's so tempting to try to be everywhere, which I think used to be kind of the advice for people like us. Yeah. But I totally agree. I'd rather just pick one or two, maybe three platforms and really do a good job.
TikTok. And maybe some of you guys out there in the comments, you're like, Antonio, no, you need to be on TikTok. I guess I remember when it was Musical.ly. My daughters were using this when we were living in Ukraine, like 2016 or 2017. And I thought it was cool, but it just seemed very addictive and very much geared towards tweens at the time. And still to this day, it's, I don't know. I haven't really seen too many people effectively using TikTok. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think?
I've heard that it can be, I mean, depending on what you do. I mean, obviously it reaches a certain demographic, so you're able to perhaps, tap into an audience that wouldn't find you on a different platform. And I've also heard that people in business can, selling a product of some sort can have really good success there. I don't know how, but that's just what I've heard. I haven't tried it, but I'm squatting on my name just in case.
I can tell you.
My younger.
Oh, good.
Real quick, my younger sister, she got on TikTok and she really grinded it for like probably 3 months, and she took off, and has closing on 2 million subscribers. And it's funny because it happened so fast. I feel like so much faster than it can happen on other platforms. And it's almost like when that happens, people don't know what they have. Even TikTok doesn't, and like brands don't even know what it's worth yet. Because if that happened on YouTube, obviously that's a huge business, that you could build off of that audience. But on TikTok, I still feel like the value per view or per follower is very low.
What were the numbers that she was able to get to?
I think she's at like 1.7 million, 1.8 million.
Sounds
followers.
like you should be working for her, right? With social clout. Like,
yeah. And she's like 10 years younger than me. She's way ahead.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's amazing, man. It's always the younger sister or the younger this, it's funny, but I mean, I've been very fortunate. I hated TikTok in the beginning, and I heard a lot of people talking about it. And I'm like, it's an app for a bunch of teenagers, and I don't want to sit there and do this all day for like 5, it's like, who cares? And then I said, okay, let's do it. We created a TikTok account, started posting random videos, not really understanding, and then stuck with it. And then started making some serious traction. But I've used TikTok in a way that's literally catapulted my business and my brand like 20-fold from a number of very, very, very strategic things that I'm doing with TikTokers, with the TikTok audience. And I've been like extremely fortunate, but TikTok has like revived my whole business, man.
Can you talk about that in detail? Because that's really, That's very different than my experience with it.
It is. And I'll tell you, I mean, so with TikTok, if you look at the people who are becoming popular, it's like, you know, the teenage guys or early 20 guys that, you know, they're good looking guys, the girls. I say it's like a thirst trap. I mean, they're seducing the camera, they're showing angles of their faces. It's like so easy for guys to like become obsessed with whoever and vice versa. And all these like these guys, because I've met loads of them and worked with a lot of them, it's like these girls just go absolutely bonkers over these kids, and they've learned how to monetize and capitalize and become multimillionaires off of this. So what I've realized is that everybody is worshiping these people, just like how YouTubers were. I need to start doing haircuts on these people or of these people, and that's what I started doing. Next thing you know, I'm getting, you know, all these requests for this one's hair and for that one's hair, and then I'm doing some of their hair, and I'm out in LA filming with them, and now I have a connection with a lot of these people. My hair products, I started focusing some of my hair products towards those specific looks and how to get the look and use this and use that, and it's literally become like something just happened today involving TikTok and one of those like houses, those big like multi-million-dollar houses in LA, and something just happened today where they're like, we want you to come to the house to film with all of our TikTok creators. I mean, we're talking like 100 million people collectively in between followers of all these people. It's crazy. But again, it's very, very specific with what I do. You know, I'm recreating their haircuts and I'm cutting their hair.
Yeah.
It's content all the people my demographic want to see. So, you know, that's how I'm using it.
Yeah.
Very unique. Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but I'm also, I
don't know. It sounds to me like very strategic. That's a very, I mean,
it is.
One thing I love about you, Stephen, is you're a hustler. You're not afraid to jump on a plane and fly across the country to cut somebody's hair if you think that that's going to work for a video or work to grow your business.
You know what? Thank you for recognizing that. And you know what? I learned that early on in building the business, was that I had to take chances and not question it. And if it failed, it failed. But that's the only way, you know, is it faith and believing and saying, you know what, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to do it. And something good comes out of it. You know, yeah. Sometimes you never expect it. Now I live my life by having no expectations, being open to whatever comes my way. And I accept it, you know, good or bad.
Well, guys, I'm sorry to do this, but this stream is about to get really, really messed up here. I don't. Yeah, let's hopefully he doesn't ruin it. But Mr. Tanner, how are you doing, man?
Did I ruin it? I'm sorry if I ruined it. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Now, if you guys don't know Tanner Guzzi over at Masculine Style, one thing I love about Tanner is your ability in the written word to get across points, which, you know, I think it was John Stuart Mill when I used to be a philosophy student. I loved his writing because in 100 words, he could do what Schopenhauer would take 300 to do. And I always love how in a series of very like well-placed tweets or write-ups, you always make a very strong point about masculinity and strength. And that's the whole reason I keep you around, man. It's because
well, thank you. I'm glad. I'll give everything to 280 characters or less for you then.
Hey, Tanner, if you haven't met Bryan, Tanner, you obviously know Brock, and Stephen. This is Tanner Stephen.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good to see you.
Well, really quick, I was going to talk about somebody that I remember meeting years ago at VidCon, and it turned into, you know, you remember that meetup, Brock? Me, you, Aaron, and Ryan, and I remember just that dinner we had next to like there in Los Angeles, or Anaheim. And just us four sitting out there talking and not really knowing where we were going to go. Do you remember that?
I remember. Yeah. You guys were like blowing my mind. I still have a note when I went back to my hotel room. It just this like brain dump after talking to you guys for like a couple hours over dinner. That was great.
Yeah. But you think about like, why did that was a total like chance. Like we just all flew out to Los Angeles. We didn't really know each other. We'd never met in person. And yet we all spent, you know, basically $1,000 plus for hotel rooms. No one got paid to go to that thing. It was just simply, hey, I want to have the opportunity to be around like-minded individuals and to to network, aka actually build real friendships.
Wait, this was 2014?
Yeah.
Was that the same?
It was the first one we had in Anaheim.
I didn't realize that, Brock, that you went to VidCon with those guys. I thought that your first one was kind of when we all got together for StyleCon the first time.
Was it?
You've been
was this
holding
the
out
one
on me,
at
man.
Was this the one at the brewery? The one at the
This
brewery?
was the
in
one at the
Anaheim?
brewery. So it wasn't. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you didn't even go to VidCon, but this was the one at the brewery. Yeah, that was the one in Anaheim.
Yeah, I didn't go to VidCon. I couldn't. I don't think I could
just
afford
the
VidCon
brewery.
at that point. Yeah, I had wanted to go to California to see a friend, and you, Antonio, you said, "Why don't you come out to VidCon?" And so I just came out and stayed at a hotel near VidCon. I didn't actually go to the conference.
Hey, we got an
And,
influential alum down there. We see SJ. Good to see you. As you know, it's like, but yeah, you know, from that it came. That's the thing. That's like a hack. Is if you can't afford to go to the conference because some of these are expensive, simply show up to where the conference is being held and hang out on the bars and the restaurants on the outskirts of it, and you'll see the same people. That was, you know, I usually would try to buy the ticket to actually go to the event, but yeah, you know, going to the party. So if you know something's going on and you want to be a part of it, yeah, just be right there, and you'll see some amazing people. Santiago.
yeah, there's nothing like meeting someone in real life, because I think especially if you kind of work online, you can form real relationships online. But if you actually pony up and go to a conference and meet people in real life, I mean, some of my closest friends are from that first meetup in Anaheim, and there's something about hanging out in the real world.
Amen to that.
We got a question here. So when are we going to do another StyleCon? Will, that's a great question. Tanner is hosting it. What, this year?
Oh, am I in charge now? Yeah.
Yeah. You're having it out in Utah.
Surprise. Yeah.
Surprise. Tanner, what have you been up to, man? How you doing?
I'm great. I actually just finished talking to a potential client that I just signed on, guy who's based out of Baton Rouge. So working with another client, and you know, business is humming along. We've got, I'm sure you'll at some point hear my brand new 3-month-old baby number 5 crying in the background. So life's busy, but it's busy in all the good ways. Yeah.
We're going to need to ban Alpha M. He's just
control us the whole time, right?
Yeah. Now, actually, he told me he was too busy to come on, or no, I don't remember what he said, but I'm like, Aaron, you know, everyone's tired.
Control us from
People
the
are tired of
instead.
seeing you on the channel. So, but yeah, man. So talk a little bit about your business. I don't think everyone here so Tanner sells, you know, basically coaching. And he works with people one-on-one to help them like rebuild their style and project the masculine, strong image that these guys know they have, but they just haven't been able to figure out how to do it yet.
Yeah, it's fun because I take, you know, I try to do what a lot of you guys do, which is build a channel and speak to an audience. Like the audience is probably listening, which are guys that are really into this and they enjoy this stuff. And those were not the kind of guys who wanted to pay for coaching or to pay to work with me because they're interested in this stuff and it's kind of a hobby. And so I found that by marketing to self-development minded men that are already working on like their fitness or their relationships or their finances or other things, and then realizing that their appearance is lagging in comparison to all these other things that they're excelling at, that was a really good market for me to work from. And then I take a much more holistic approach to it, where we talk about, yes, the aesthetics, like these are colors and this is what fits well and this is all that. But then we also talk about communication, like who are you? What do you do? How do you express things like dignity or authority or approachability or mastery or self-respect to people at work or to your kids or the women you're dating or any of that? And then also how to get the authenticity out of it as well. So it's like a 9-week process. And by the time we're done, they don't need me or really anybody anymore because they're totally self-sufficient, all this stuff by that point. So it's fun. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're going after men that are already, you know, they understand that they're the only person that can pull themselves out. They got to take that first step.
Yeah.
Now let's have a fun. I've got some challenge coins here at Real Men Real Style, which I would love to send out to somebody in the audience, but I need to see a comment over at Tanner Guzzi's website. What
right there
is in his logo? Look at that. Ooh, you got one too.
I got one too.
Yeah. But I've got extras and I'll be sending them out. So what is the animal in Tanner Guzzi's logo? Do I say Guzzi or Guzzi? Which one do I say?
Guzzi like Guzzi.
Yeah. But I could say Guzzi could be like my pet name for you.
No, it can't. No, it cannot. That's not allowed.
No, not allowed. Okay, got it. Yeah. Let's see. Is anyone going to get that coin? And I don't care where you're at in the world. So, and again, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're from. Love hearing from my friends over in Pakistan, over in India and Bangladesh, down in South Africa. If you are up at this time, Australia, just jump in and say hi, guys. Love seeing you guys. Oh, Scott says it's a koala bear. Is that right?
That's it. You got it.
Ooh, Josh, I see Will Powell. I think he got it first. But Will, if you've already got a coin, but up to, hey, we'll get out a couple coins. There were a couple that were really close to each other. You're right. It is a lion. It is a lion. Now, the next coin, let's make this fun. Over at Steven's channel, he's got a video. Like, what is his video with the most number of views? This is over at the Salon Guy. Can you find the video with the most number of views? Steven, do you know which video has the most number of views?
I believe it's one called like medium length.
You can't give it away.
Well, hey, I have about 500 titled medium length. So
there you go. Okay, so you got to be specific about what the video is. Put it in the comments, and we will we'll find whoever can get that one. The most views over on his channel. So have a little bit of fun over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a style question, if I can.
Go for it.
19 style experts here. So, what do you? So I've noticed in the hair space that there's a lot of barbers and people popping up, creating YouTube channels, putting out amazing hair type content. And I know for a while there's been a lot of fashion guys and people who have been coming out and creating content to help other guys with their style. And like, if each one of you wants to answer, but where do you find, like, what inspires you or what knowledge you pull from to help other guys with their style? Like, what makes you either like a fashion expert, or what are you helping them with the most? And is there a need for guys? Like, I know there's obviously men who can't dress for anything, but like, are there guys really, really desperate saying, hey man, help me out, please. I'm in desperate need here for a new outfit,
I think, so I've always sort of like understood like why people want to dress better, or like the power of dressing well. Right. But I have to say it's been hard to sort of articulate, to find the why, or like I say, the thing under the thing. Right. But it's only since really sort of hitting the YouTube channel hard over the last 2.5 years that I've really been able to pull that out. And it's that dressing well, and this is straight from my audience's mouth. Dressing well makes people feel better. It gives them more confidence when they look a certain way. I don't necessarily, I mean, it's like a trope, suit is a suit of armor, and it makes me feel this way, but I never sort of express it that way. But there is this element of confidence that people feel when they put on something and they put some time into it and they dress well. And then the other thing from that confidence, it gives them they're able to accomplish whatever it is that they're wanting to do, whether that's in their personal life, their professional life, in relationships, all of that. So that's sort of the thing under the thing that style is all about. It's hard to, people might not realize it, but that's what it really gets to.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I would say
I totally agree with what Bryan said, and like building on that a little bit. I think probably most people, maybe not everybody, generally want to get better with age. They want to improve themselves. And I think there's so many things you can do. Like I always picture there's like a big tree, like this tree of self-improvement, and all the different branches are different things you can do. One thing might be transforming your body, another one might be like working on your social skills or making more money. And one of them is just dressing better, just figuring out what to wear. And I think out of all those different things you can do to like feel better and be happier, have a better life, I think dressing well is like really, really low hanging fruit. And I think it's also a little bit of a chain reaction, because once you have some wins, say a small win is you learn how your jeans should fit and you get all your jeans tailored. Now your jeans fit and you feel better. All of a sudden you want to hit the gym, all of a sudden people are talking to you a little more. And so it's kind of this, it builds on itself. But for me, it's not, I think for a lot of people, fashion is a form of creativity and self-expression. But for me, it's actually not. It's kind of a checkbox a little bit. Like I want to understand it and know it, but I don't want to spend all of my time thinking about it. I don't want to make mistakes. So, I say this on my channel sometimes. I think good style, like a good referee, like no one notices him, but it doesn't make mistakes. And that's kind of how I think of style. And so I think anybody that ends up kind of watching my videos or following my stuff, that kind of resonates with them too, versus the more like fashion forward, expressing yourself through your outfit.
That's awesome. Tanner, what do you think, man?
The only thing I'd add to that, I mean, both Bryan and Brock nailed it. The only thing that I would add to that is there's this level of congruence where I think a lot of times, especially for men today, there's dissonance between who they are or who they're building themselves to be on the inside and then how they manifest externally. And this really good style is about creating congruence between the two, so that when you see a reflection in the mirror, or you see, your girlfriend post a picture of you on Instagram, or you see a family photo with you and your kids and everything in there, that the guy that you see on the outside is congruent with who it is that you're building yourself to becoming on the inside. And that's where the real power of it comes is, am I actually seeing the best version of myself? And it has nothing to do with how other people see you. It's how you see yourself. Am I actually seeing the best version of myself? And if I am, like Brock is saying, you get a win and then you start to act more in accordance with what that best version of yourself looks like. And so it's almost like this congruent placebo, where if I project a better version of myself, then I have to act like a better version of myself in order to be consistent with it.
That's awesome. Do you guys feel like, I've throughout my years of going to like fashion weeks and interviewing celebrities and all this and that, I've asked them like directly, like, what's most important to you? Is it hair? Is it makeup? Is it clothing? What's your sense of style? And I was so surprised by how a lot of these like actors were like, I'm like a jeans and t-shirt guy. I like boots, but I was like, really? Like they were so simplistic with their style. Like, you guys feel like you can actually have a sense of style with like a t-shirt and jeans? Like, is that enough, do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, 90% of my wardrobe is Henleys and jeans. Like nice. Almost every day, that's what I'm in. And then you throw on the right pair of shoes or a right jacket and it changes everything. But no, and I think I'm still in Brock's thunder, but yeah, you can nail it with just a t-shirt and jeans.
I think it's hard to get to that point though, because a lot of guys that just start getting into style or thinking about style or fashion, one of the biggest mistakes they make is going overboard. They want to show everyone that they're into style and they're into fashion. So, you might look at photos from 5-6 years ago when you first started on this journey and you're like, what was I thinking? But and this is a process that I've gone through too. I mean, I look back at some photos and I've done a couple of videos where I review old outfits and it's, a little cringeworthy, but it's this process that you have to go through to get to this point. And then I feel like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, I think I dress pretty boring. It's simple and boring, like for when we're talking about like, say like, fashion or whatever, but it's finding out what you're comfortable with, what works for you, what gives you that kind of confidence. And, the biggest thing that can affect that is if you're self-conscious about something you're wearing or you're trying something out and it doesn't feel quite right to you, that's going to project itself out into the world and it's going to affect how you carry yourself. People will pick up on that. So it's really important to just kind of figure out over time. And it is a process. Figure out over time what works for you. And if it's jeans and a t-shirt, that's your thing. And that makes you feel good. That's all that matters.
Hey guys, awesome. I'm going to take a quick, really quick break. I want to clear up and I want to show. So today's video, guys, I got to put in a sponsorship, but seriously, this is a project I've been working on for a year, even more. You guys have watched my videos. You've seen me wearing these suede jackets. Yet I was always like, and I get asked, where do I get these suede jackets from? Well, guys, I've been working with JL Rocha, and we've come out with 3 unique suede jackets. These are being made to order. And, like I said, so I looked at John Varvatos, I looked at Tom Ford. Those are jackets that cost well over $2,000. We made a similar jacket with, and this is all made down in Leon, Mexico, Guanajuato area where my father's from, and some of the best leather workers in the world. These guys have, so notice the hardware on the front of the jacket. This is a jacket that basically, when you put it on, you're going to feel like a badass. And if you want to take advantage of this deal, you've only got a few more days before we're shutting this down. Gents, I'm putting the link in there. It's joseluisrocha.com/RMRS. This is our exclusive collection over there. Again, I've been running this for about just coming on over a week. So we've got only a few days left. They're 50% off. These are made to order. So you're not going to get it immediately. We're going to actually make it so that, specifically what you order. This is a steal to have a jacket that you love. I know Tanner's talked about this. I talk about this. When you put on a jacket, it builds up your shoulders. It draws attention to the hands. It slims up the silhouette. And, getting this, what Stephen was talking about, a lot of these rock stars, they talk about, why do they go with something simple? Because it's comfortable. And comfortable is what we're familiar with. And what we're familiar with are things that just make us feel good. We know we get compliments on. And when you've got that great looking jacket, when you're wearing that, even with a t-shirt and jeans and some nice shoes, I can tell you, you're going to get, you're going to draw them in. So Brock, if you haven't picked up your jacket, I'm going to be sad.
I was going to say, I can't believe you're giving us all a free jacket for doing this. That's so generous of you, Antonio.
Oh yes.
I'm so pumped on this now. What a great call. This is the best.
No, but guys, take advantage. I'll keep the link up there for a little bit longer, but no, it was I'll paraphrase Clausewitz, and he's one of our favorite Prussian generals. They always force us Marines to study, but he talked about how in war everything is very simple, but even the most simple things are complex. And for me, that's about style. Style is very simple, but even in the most simple style, it's very complex. So you start off trying all these different items, thinking that style somehow is a suit or that it's really expensive items. And then it's funny, after you're in the style game for a few years, you come back to the lowly t-shirt, you come back to the lowly jacket, you come back to the lowly pair of sneakers, but you look at them with different eyes because all of a sudden you're aware of the quality and the importance of fabrics, the importance of weaves, the importance of drape, the importance of just quality stitching on these things. And so you look at the shoes you used to wear that was just simple sneakers and you realize, okay, you either appreciate them more or you realize, I do need to pay more and up my game here. So when people say they're a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy, as long as they've thought through that, I think that's perfectly fine. But I think most people fall into the trap of they haven't truly thought about the message they want to send to the world, and they're just defaulting to the fashions that we're being surrounded by and the fashions of our time.
Yeah, there's also an element of being appropriate for the occasion, which I think is still important. I think everybody should kind of, for the most part, dress however they want, but there's an element of respect that comes into it because we've all seen the guy at a wedding who's underdressed and it's awkward. It's kind of it's a little disrespectful to the people that are throwing the party. And on the other side, there's the people who wear a suit to a casual event, and it's equally kind of weird. And so I think there is something about kind of a social grace or a social understanding about understanding the occasion and dressing appropriately, still in your style, but showing that respect to other people.
Yeah, context is king.
Hey, really quick, I want to reintroduce everybody because I know some of you guys are just joining us. If you are, let us know where you're from, where you're at. But we've got Stephen over at the Salon Guy. We've got Brock over at Modest Man. We have Tanner over at Masculine Style. We have Bryan over at He Spoke Style. And really quick, who would like to win a coin out there? I've got these Armorous coins, and I know Tanner's got his. Brock, you should have yours somewhere, but you probably have it hidden in the storage. Or did you not get one yet?
I don't think you said. You can send it with my jacket.
Yeah, I'll send it with the jacket.
I lost mine too.
Yeah. But over at He Spoke Style, Bryan sold his Nautilus. And that was quite the story. How much did he sell it for? And even better, so you can win 2 coins here, 2 options. How much did he sell it for? how much did he make profit? He reveals in one of his videos. Do we have any super He Spoke style fans out there? And go check out the video, guys. It's a great. Oh, somebody's saying you sold it for $64.5K. Is that right?
I forget.
Oh. The tax man.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll double check it. But if you go check it out, he reveals in the video. I remember you broke it out, even how much profit you made. That was good. And then what is the Nautilus going for right now? So a chance that there are 3 coins out there that are optional. I don't care where you're in the world. In fact, I love it when I can send a coin out to my friends over in France. I can get one out to my friends over in Russia, over in Belarus or Ukraine. Our friends down in Brazil. Love you guys. So let us know where you're from, and let's see who can figure out how much did he pay for the Nautilus, or how much did he sell it for? How much profit did he make? And 50K or 30K profit. Which one is it, Bob? You got to make a decision there. So what was can you recap that story? Because you said in the video, your watch collection, you're like, yeah, I'm just not going to flip this thing. And then it seemed like it was just too much to resist.
I didn't say I wouldn't flip it. and let me be clear. So I think I wore this watch. Yeah. I wore it a lot when I actually ended up selling it. It was beat up. Like my dog put a scratch in it, and it wasn't like I put this thing. I got it. I never unwrapped it like you see at auctions and stuff. It's sealed in the box and double sealed and this and that. It wasn't like that. I got it and I wore it all the time. The story I tell in the video, I think is it just sort of I had it. I enjoyed it. And then it sort of started to take on a different life. It became this object where, I don't know, it just didn't, people were looking at it differently, and it became something different to me. And I liked it, but it wasn't really like turning me on anymore. So I ended up, a guy down the road was interested. I asked a few people who might be interested, but from the moment I bought it, this guy was trying to buy it off my wrist, however long before that was. Yeah. It was just right.
What I love about your collection is you've kept it. It seems like relatively streamlined.
I often think about, if I just had one watch or 2 watches, what would that be? What would I get rid of? Because I do wear the watches that I have. It's not like there's one that just sits around and collects dust. And if that happens, I will get rid of it, because if I'm not wearing it, it's not bringing me joy in any way. So why keep it around? So I've done that. Like when I sold my Rolex GMT Master, the 1675, which you noted that I don't think you like too much, but I just wasn't wearing it anymore. And, if, why should I, I didn't want to keep it anymore. So someone else would love it, and someone else probably does love it now. And I don't miss it. So,
I think we've all got a story. Brock, have you sold any of your watches, or you've kept most of yours?
Just like more affordable ones. I don't have like a
crazy Rolex, right?
So I did sell. I sold one. It was a 34 millimeter Oyster Perpetual, and I got it. It's so like my first kind of like luxury watch. It was a secondhand Datejust that I got from Christian at Theo and Harris right before I got married. So I wore it at the wedding, and it was like became a special watch. But like a few months after I was wearing it, I was like, this isn't an everyday watch for me. Like, it's too dressy, and I just never dress up. And I saw this gray dial 34 millimeter pristine condition. I think it was an 87, but it was like perfect condition. So it's probably restored Oyster Perpetual from a guy I follow on Instagram. And it was like $2,800, or like something that now is very affordable and for what it is. And so I just grabbed it and loved it, but it had no sentimental value, So after wearing it for a while, I started eyeing the Explorer, and I thought, well, I got to get rid of something, one in, one out. And I got rid of that one because, I'm keeping the Datejust forever.
really quick, if you guys haven't checked out Brock's website, The Modest Man, you need to get over there. Amazing website. And one of the things that I like is you've been ultra specific about who you go after. Now, you do actually have a free guide. And so I'd like to know in the comments, has anyone checked out Brock's free guide? And what does he talk about in this free guide over on his website? So if you want to win a coin, let us know in the comments what he is talking about in his free guide. Worst case, you go grab a free guide and he collects your email, which, is always a good trade. But, you've always done really good with being able to collect stuff like that. And by the way, if you win a coin from me, all you have to do is reach out using the contact form at realmenrealstyle.com. We'll verify that you did win. And yeah, we'll get on that. But let me see. I got to pull I hit everything. Got my multiple screens going here. Tanner, what's going on, big for you? Anything to look forward to this fall?
We're doing I'm launching a men's magazine with a buddy of mine, actually, which I'm excited about. We're doing it. It's going to be online.
That's
and
big.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because we found that most of the stuff that is being put out by GQ and Esquire and kind of everything else is not really made for men. And it's certainly not made for, from the perspective of trying to make men more masculine. And we, rather than just being caught up in kind of reactionary content, which that's what the internet is at this point, right? It's people trying to push the envelope and then people either agreeing with it and getting excited about it or getting pissed off and becoming reactionary. And both of those are really stupid. And so we wanted to create the kind of content that we would like to see. And so we're launching a magazine called Chest. It's built off of the idea of the C.S. Lewis quote of how we make men without chests and then expect honor and greatness from them. And so we want to build men with chests because then we can expect honor and greatness from each other. And we're launching in the next couple of weeks, which will be pretty cool. So that's kind of the big thing on deck for me.
That's huge. That's huge, man. Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, we just got a question in. Super chats, guys. I always appreciate it. I wish I could figure out how to return your money. I don't need your guys' money. I really appreciate it, though. But I do want to thank you, Diego, and get this question answered. You're asking, what's your favorite watch, clothing, and fragrance brand? Now, we'll each jump in on something here. I'll start off with fragrance brands, and of course, it is Pete and Pedro and Beard Brand. And no, seriously, those are great houses if you haven't checked them out and what they're doing over there. But my favorite fragrance brand, I hate to be cliche and just say Creed, but there's something about, paying a set price and just your expectation of what you smell. And I'm looking at the fragrances that I just love wearing. If it's, Creed, definitely. So Aventus cologne is one of my favorites. Not Aventus, but actually the Aventus cologne. I just think it's fresher, cleaner. One of my go-to summers, Erolfa by Creed Aventus is my top summer pick. And they're just really light and great for this time of the year. If it was winter, Carlisle by Parfums de Marly. I know a lot of people feel they've got, I had them as a sponsor a while back, but I had bought all their fragrances prior to that with my own money. And Carlisle was one I was drawn to. When it comes to clothing brands, Brock, what about you? Who do you like gear towards?
Oh man, there's so many. I feel like
you can choose.
Closet.
Yeah, you can choose something else. You can go with fragrance or watches.
I'll say a couple of clothing brands I've tried recently that I've enjoyed. Nudie jeans. I think I'm doing a review with them, and I think it's a really, not that you haven't heard of them. They're popular, but I think they're really good. Kind of like when you're ready to go one step above Levi's, but you're not, you don't want to pay $500 for designer jeans. I think Nudie offers a lot of value. And then another kind of newer brand that I think is really cool is called Asket. It's ASKET. And they're doing like really high quality basics, but in a wider variety of sizes. So for every size, you can choose regular, short, or long for their tops. So for example, I could get like a small, shorter length t-shirt. And then Buck Mason is doing the same thing. So I really like this trend with brands. They're kind of honing in on fit a little bit. And hopefully that trend continues. So I'm buying as many of their t-shirts as I can to let them know that it's a good idea.
Now, Steven, you're a cologne guy, aren't you?
Too much. too much of a cologne guy.
Yeah. So what are your houses? What are the one, or what are your favorite go-to colognes?
I used to be a big Versace guy. I like Tom Ford stuff. I like Henry Rose. Michelle Pfeiffer worked on that one. It was actually surprisingly well. Amazing cologne. This other one, I hope I'm pronouncing it Sally Previ, I believe, or Previ, but it's only available in Italy. That stuff is just, we're talking like $400, $500 for this stuff. But Tom Ford is classic. Guess is good, has some decent stuff. Versace, as I mentioned. There's so many. I mean, you can go on like Dollar Shave Club and get like colognes now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about like you guys were mentioning before. If it smells good, doesn't matter. You can buy it from a damn vending machine, but there are a lot of people who are like really attached to the name brands. Like if you're wearing a Tom Ford suit, wearing a Dolce & Gabbana cologne, I mean, you feel good because you feel like you're wearing something of like super high quality, so there is that name, that brand aspect to it. But, I have this, I don't know if you guys are like big, just plain t-shirt guys, but plain, clean, fresh, clean tees. I discovered them. I bought a bunch of their t-shirts, the most just regular t-shirts, the best cotton I've ever, it's unbelievable. So they're like become my favorite t-shirt. So, I like specific brands for certain things. But I would say Tom Ford is definitely my go-to, but that it's very intense, not, as you guys probably know.
What about you, Tanner? Any watches, any clothing brands, any fragrances or houses that you love?
So I'm not actually a big fragrance guy, so I'm not the right one to ask for that. I think I still have the 2 bottles from, I don't remember who it was at the last Menfluencer.
Jeremy?
Was it Jeremy Fragrance?
Yeah,
that we got the date
Office
and the
and
Office
Date.
ones. Yeah, like I throw those on when we go out on a date, or then the occasion, so it's like once or twice a month I'll throw on one of those fragrances, and that I don't know why I've just never really jumped in on that, and I'm just starting to enter into the timepiece world. There's a micro brand out there called Baltic, and they have, I don't know how to pronounce, is it the Aquascape? I don't know. It's this really cool looking watch that I'm actually I'm pulling the trigger on this weekend, that I'm excited about. But I mean, like, this thing is, you guys remember Nixon from the old like skate days? Like this is $100 Nixon skate watch, and I still love beating up my old Nixons, so those are kind of fun in that regard. In fact, I have, Brock, do you remember the Dork? The alarm that it would say Dork when you pushed it? I have that one still. I gotta go dig that guy up. That's old school Nixon from like 2003. And then as far as clothing lines, I work in Buck Mason. Man, my casual stuff from them, especially you guys, the thing that they do so well, most brands, and this kind of ties back to the conversation we were having earlier, most guys, when they get into style, they focus way too much on formality or color or pattern. That's kind of the beginner realm. It's like, I'm going to just, go crazy on these things. And as you get a little bit deeper in, you find out that texture and fit and quality and these other more subtle variables are usually where there's a lot more to be said. And Buck Mason is crushing it with fit and with the textures and the materials that they use and stuff. So I really like that. And then for suiting, I'm still like, yeah, I'm biased because I worked for him forever, but I'm still a big Beck and Rob fan. That's still the only place that I go to get any of my suiting stuff and still get it made. But I have a question. We can ask this after Bryan goes, because I'm curious on his stuff. But I want to know if you guys have found high-waisted jeans anywhere, because I have not been able to find a pair yet that I like. And I want a pair, but I'm really coming up short on this.
Yeah, have you? So really quick to answer your question, Tanner, I would check out Demetrius Levi. Do you know Demetrius?
No.
Yeah, so he's got a YouTube channel. He's been influential a few times. Type in,
probably that.
Yeah, he actually was working with a company out of Hong Kong that was made. He did a whole video on high-waisted pants and where to find them.
Oh,
okay. So check around, and I can introduce you if you don't know him. He'll get you, some different companies to check out.
Thank you.
But Bryan, so if I remember correctly, Original Vetiver is one of your favorites in the summer, right?
Creed Original Vetiver is good. I think. So I actually made some notes here so I wouldn't forget. So we got clothing, fragrance, and watches. So
yeah.
We'll stick with fragrance. So I think for I'm going to go with like a classic and then a couple more niche picks. So like classic, everyday, you can't go wrong with it. Christian Dior Eau Sauvage. more or less affordable, under $100. Classic scent, one of the all-time classic men's fragrances. Niche fragrances, I love everything by Artiste and Raja Parfum. Great stuff. Scandal by Raja Parfum is like, it's the best fougere I have ever smelled in my life. I wear it all the time. Let's see. For watches, they're not under the radar, but for people who just like might know Rolex or something like that, I love JLC, Jaeger LeCoultre, and Alanga Nzuna. Both are, just super elegant, very classy. If you know watches, you will know what they are, but a lot of people, it really flies under the radar because they're not out there advertising like Patek or Rolex or Cartier or Breitling, things like that. Just really elegant and, on the subtle side of things, but just amazing watches. And then clothing for casual stuff. I've just discovered Best Made from Duluth Trading Company. That's actually the sweatshirt I'm wearing. I had this old Levi's like athletic sweatshirt that it literally has holes in the elbows now, and I've been looking forever for a replacement for it, because if you look for a Levi's sweatshirt like this, you can't find it. I haven't been able to find one without like a logo or something on it. So this is just really nice. And they have I have like a camp collar shirt, striped cotton linen. It's a little flowy, awesome for summer. It's like my summer uniform now. So those are my picks.
Good picks. And Duluth Trading Company, not based out of Duluth anymore. They're over in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, just about 2 hours south of me.
There you go. Represent.
Yeah, that's right. I see here a Wisconsin company. Always proud of that. But Red Wing, they're over in Minnesota. They're just 3 hours from us over there. But all right, so we got a few more questions. Everyone's asking, everyone was really excited to hear that. Now, Stephen, there was one specific for you. They were talking about barbershop scents, barbershop fragrances. Do you have any that you're like really like, hey, this is a great barbershop fragrance?
Scandal.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting question, because like I've spent most of my career in hair salons, so smelling hairsprays and perfumes from women. But as far as like masculine, a lot of guys,
somebody's making money.
Yeah. Thank you. A lot of guys like sandalwood and vanilla type musky, sandalwood's a big one, man. I know a lot of women that like sandalwood, but there's a lot of guys who, believe it or not, who aren't fans of fragrance, especially with even some hair products. I did have some clients in the past. I go, I'm not a huge fan of fragrances, or I have allergic reactions. I can't smell anything too strong, so I prefer stuff with no fragrance. I'm like, okay. But I think for the most part, guys tend to like something almost like a cologne. And in my products, at least with the fragrances, I test them and I make sure they smell like a cologne, because it's something I would want to wear. And I've become known somewhat for my products because of the fragrances. And so I kind of put that behind it. But I think guys just want to smell fresh and clean and good, and something that makes them feel confident, like you mentioned. I think a cologne can make someone feel more attractive. And when you're having a barbershop experience or hair salon experience, whatever, getting a haircut, you want to walk out feeling like your hair may smell nice and clean, it's nice and fresh, the product smells good. Barbershops have a very specific type of, you think like the powder, the talc powder, or that kind of aftershave type of, scent. I guess some of the classic barbershops still do that, but nowadays, I think it's become a bit more modern and a bit more diverse with the scents that you're smelling.
I would say for a classic barbershop like fougere, with the lavender, a little bit of bite, like costs literally hardly any money. Brut, classic Brut aftershave is like easy.
That's it. I mean, something so simple. You know what I mean? But
so Tanner, I'm interested. I mean, you're listening to all this fragrance talk, and you're like, not really my thing. But you use deodorant, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess my thoughts are.
Wow, put me on the spot, Antonio. Yeah. Jeez, man.
Well, come on, that's what I do. I mean, every time I was influential, I would do something stupid and put somebody like. To me, it's just like, yeah, it's like, hey, whatever. But Yeah, I just think of like, if I think of it like football terms, deodorant is defense, and a fragrance, the right fragrance is offense.
Right.
And it's
because deodorant just covers up the bad stuff. It gets you to neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'll be sure. I'll be getting a sample over to my Mission Fragrance project. Have I told you about that one?
You know what's funny about deodorant and fragrances though? I feel like I've gotten, and I'm, compared to you guys, I'm like very much a fragrance noob. I have a few, but they're like very popular and basic, I would say. But when I just wear like Old Spice Swagger deodorant, I get more comments on the way I smell just off of that. My wife's like, "Wow, what's going on today?" I'm just like, "That's just Old Spice Swagger,"
It's all those hormone disrupting parabens that just affect her that way. She's pumped on that.
Maybe that's it.
I think that hits the point. Like, you don't have to spend a whole lot to smell great, but it's the best things in life are free. The second best things can be very expensive. It's. So sometimes you find something like Scandal that you just love the smell of, but if it's a Roja, you're going to be paying out the nose for that.
I like Florist number 89 too. That's a really good one by Florist, of course. Yeah, supposedly worn by Winston Churchill and supposedly a favorite of Ian Fleming, author of the James Bond books.
Yes, very classic. So what? Stephen, you had some like rings going off there. I take it that's your hair product selling?
Yeah. The cha-chings are, I would say, a special prayer. Anytime or sale comes through, thank you, God. Thank you, God. So I'm very, very grateful for anytime the cha-ching comes through on the phone. But I have a question for you. Unfortunately, I have to leave kind of soon, but I do have a question for you guys because it's I'm thinking of the style aspect of what you all do and talk about. And it's like, when you take on a client or you're giving advice to a guy, because there's so many different elements, from the hair to the clothing to the shoes to the fragrances and stuff like that. Like, to me, what do you think is the ultimate place, like the first place you have to start? Like, do you think that a guy could actually dress horribly, but his cologne could save him? Or do you feel like that do you think that what's the most important thing for somebody to start at for like a redo on their style?
Physique, lift. I mean, the better you take care of your body, then the more forgiving everything else is. How you smell, how you dress, all of it. And so that's where I would tell guys to start, is the better you look good naked, the better you're going to look good in your clothes, irrespective of what those clothes are.
That's awesome. That's hardcore, dude, but that's awesome. That's like 8 months from now I can look all right, but
Yeah, it's I mean, Tanner hits on a really important point, but I think even prior to that is mindset, is actually realizing that this has to matter to you, whatever it is. I mean, so right now my wife's in another country. I'm at home with my son until we're going to head off and join him in Ukraine here in a few weeks. But I'm hungry a lot because I'm just not, it sounds bad, but my wife usually handles most of the food at the house. I go home for family meals and eat.
Mine too.
But I'm smart enough. I can figure it out. Like, if I'm hungry, I will find a way to feed myself. I won't starve, but I have to have that need in that, because otherwise I won't do it. And I feel that if you don't have the drive, if you don't believe in what an image, changing your image can do for you, if you don't believe that better fitness is going to get you to where you want to go, then you're not going to institute the systematic change that's required, especially for fitness, but you're not going to drop the money to start investing in your style. And no matter, how much advice you get, whenever you start taking action, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to buy a watch that you thought you liked or you wanted, but you actually don't, because you wear it for a while and you find out it's too formal. Or you're going to go out there and buy something that, a suit that you thought fits you, and a year later, you're going to look at that picture and say, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But if you've got that desire to make that change, you've got that why that's driving you. I think that for me is the first thing I always try to instill in a guy and help him understand. Simon Sinek, created a whole brand around this, but start with that why, start with that as the driver. And then all these other things are just like, they're parts of a chain that's going to get you there. And if you view style like a chain, like from cleanliness to grooming to your shoes to the garments you're wearing on your body, all of these things, like if if one of those parts break, then the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So it's not one of those things that stands apart. To me, that's a wrong way of looking at it. It's linking all of these together, and then you want to zero in and spend time and focus energy and resources on the area that you're weakest.
I think you really need to prioritize yourself, because a lot of times the big issue is that a lot of guys just don't have the time, or they don't think they have the time. And they're not putting time into themselves. They just haven't decided to prioritize this aspect of themselves. So, whether that's fitness or dressing well, it takes time. You have to set that aside. You have to carve that out for yourself. And I understand, like, people are busy. They have so many things to do. They have families, they have work, they have relationships, right? But you just have to decide, if I want to make this commitment to looking better and feeling better and being more confident, being able to accomplish more, you have to carve out time, just like, and get into a routine of doing that. Like, if you go to the gym, when you get into that routine, it suddenly, if you don't go for one day, it feels weird. Your body's like, what's happening? I need to move, I need to do this. Same thing with eating well. If you stop eating crap, and if you eat well over and over again, it becomes a habit. Then if you eat something bad, it almost feels like you're poisoning yourself in a way. So it's like developing these positive habits and these positive routines that it takes commitment. It takes a little bit of discipline. But once you get into that groove, you really start to, it starts to snowball, and you really start to see results and feel better about yourself.
Well, and to build off of that, I think you're right. A lot of guys say that I don't have the time, and they don't realize. I think, is it Abraham Lincoln who made the quote that he said, if I had 5 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 3.5 hours sharpening the axe. Because essentially, this is what it is taking care of yourself is sharpening the axe. And if you can take care of your fitness and your aesthetics and your mental health and all of these other things, then it makes you more effective at work. It makes you more effective in your relationships. It makes you more effective as a parent. And so you're not actually being selfish by taking care of yourself. You're actually being more generous, because then you're more effective in how you benefit the rest of the world as well.
Hey, Stephen. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brock. I know Stephen, you got to head out though after this.
One thing to build on that, first, hi, John from 40 Over Fashion.
Yeah.
Comments.
John Galfano.
I would say that one quick thing to build on that, like, I think a lot of people, sometimes they don't feel motivated, myself included sometimes. And I think it's okay I think any source of motivation is good. And so sometimes you have to sort of explore different types of motivation. Some people aren't that competitive, so maybe seeing other people do better than them isn't a good source of motivation. Some people are. Yeah, exactly. Some people aren't driven by money. Some people just have it in them. They just want to improve, and it's already in there. But I think it's okay to, I guess what I'm saying is, whatever your form of motivation is, wherever you can find it, that's good, and just use that. And there's no such thing as bad motivation. So if someone tells you you're too competitive, or you're too money driven, or you're too whatever, I actually don't buy that. I think anything that kind of gets you moving is good.
So I mean, that's everything you all said is friggin' amazing. And you're right. It's like, you are what you eat. When you look better, you feel better. But I can assure you that there are guys who are listening, watching this, and saying, man, I don't have like 6 months or like 5 weeks. I'm happy with who I am. I may be a little bit overweight. I feel great about myself. I want to look good now. I want to feel better now. Losing weight isn't my first priority. I just want to feel better. And I just know there's guys thinking that right now, even though you're all 100% right. But like, then it goes, what's the first thing you would tell that guy, saying, you know what, dude, I get it. You're happy. You're content with how you are. You want to feel better from your own perspective. Like, let's go and get you smelling better, or let's go and get you better, clothing.
Go to the tailor. Go to the tailor.
The tailor,
That's it. I think so. I really think it is. I think don't even buy anything new. Just take your clothes to a tailor. It's going to be awkward the first time. Let them do their thing. And that's going to be like the best money you've ever spent. That's the first thing I always tell people to do.
That's actually amazing. So get your current clothing to fit better for your yeah, that's awesome. Anybody else? What do you think for a guy who's like, I'm fine with how much I weigh. I need something to make myself feel and look better.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, anything, Tanner? I mean, that sounds like a mindset issue. I mean, I get it. Like sometimes people ask impossible questions, and you can. At the end of the day, you know, I think we all give tons of tools for free through our channel, through our website. I know I give away. You know, we have an app we have tons of ebooks. But to me, mentally, if they're not ready, Brock made a great point about the tailor. I sometimes think a guy just simply going for a walk, going for a run, you know, getting a little bit of exercise in, that does immediately change some of the chemicals running through your body. Getting back to Tanner's point, it's not, you know, who can't go for a walk. And by the way, call up a friend that you haven't spoken to for a while. It's going to make you feel better. You're going for that walk. And then, find some clothing that you love and get it adjusted. So
I want to say that I'm envious of the person you're talking about, Steven. because I know people like that, and I'm just like, I wish I could be like that, and not have all of these like things that I have to do and whatever. And I don't know what that says about me, but like people like that, I envy in a certain way for being just like, so they are already confident in who they are and they feel good about who they are. So maybe they don't need to make a change. I think people need to be ready to make a change. So if they're comfortable and happy being who they are, and more power to them.
I think it's really interesting that you attribute that to confidence, because what I hear is complacency. What I hear, the way that Steven's saying, is that I'm too scared to have to make these big changes that require the real sacrifices. So can you please give me an easy win that can give me all the same dopamine hits without actually having to put in any of the real work? And what I would say to that guy is, tough luck, dude. There's nothing that I can tell you that's actually going to get you what you want. You have to be willing to put in the work. It may not be fitness. It may need to be something else. But what you're after, that emotion, that feeling that you're after, there's no scent or no piece of clothing or anything else that's going to give you that, because it only comes at the back end of real hard work and real sacrifice. But maybe I'm misreading it, and it's not complacency. It is confidence. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Both. It could be either or, it depends on the person. But I like that perspective a lot.
Well, it's like me, for example. I mean, as a hair guy, like, I mean, the amount of people that ask me questions, technical questions about hair in general, and you all have great hair.
Thank you.
Speaking of envy, but I mean, I get a lot of people asking me hair questions every single day, and I mean, talk about confidence. You ever get a bad haircut? I'm sure you're not walking around feeling pretty good. So. So it's the same thing with when it comes to that too. You know what I mean? And people are always asking me, like, or they're saying, "Oh my God, I got my hair cut," or "You showed me how to do a hairstyle, and I feel so much better about myself now, and I can finally have that look," or "My guy finally knows how to cut it," from watching a video or whatever. It's pretty interesting. But a lot of this is all about perception, and it's all about how we feel about ourselves. And one little thing. You can wear an outfit and someone takes a picture of you and you see yourself, you go, "Oh my God, I look horrible. My body I'm out of shape. I got to do something about it." Sometimes it takes us seeing ourselves from a different perspective to go, "Yeah, I got to go on that diet, or I got to start wearing different clothing," or, you know what I mean? So it all comes down to perception.
Amen to that.
Well, Steven, man, if you got to head out, it was a pleasure to have you here and everything. But at any point, I want to change it up. I want to ask a really simple question. This guy Rishi's been challenging us, or Rinchi. He wants us to come up with pattern combinations for shorter guys. I can't imagine anyone out there that would focus in on men 5'8" and under. But if there is a man out there, maybe we can get some pattern ideas.
Vertical stripes.
Yeah, that's what everybody will say. I don't actually think there's any like patterns that a shorter guy can't wear. I think a lot of those so-called rules are sort of overblown and taken too seriously. So I don't think your height has anything to do with the patterns that you can wear. Personally, I feel better when I'm wearing smaller scale patterns. So kind of more subtle patterns like this one. It's vertical stripes, but they're very thin stripes. and that's because I'm a smaller guy, so I feel better like that, you know. But yeah, I think I've been guilty in the past of being a little too prescriptive about here's what you should do if you're a shorter guy, you know, here's how you should dress. But you know, these days I don't think.
You're getting challenged. He's saying shorter guys can't wear horizontal stripe patterns, which I did. I remember there was that one guy that was wearing it, and literally that just like things started falling apart around him. You remember that? Like it was in California.
Yeah, he got divorced, lost his job.
There's a black hole.
Everything. Yeah. Now, I mean, Rinchi, we're not making fun of you, man, but there is no, when it comes to style rules, none of these. I mean, I think I like to call them more guidelines. I muted myself. Rules do better for SEO, but I think they're guidelines. Like a lot of people, they put these things out there just simply, I think, for starters, so that you avoid making critical errors. But when you understand the rules, you can bend them, you can break them.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. I've actually, I got to peace out here, but Antonio, appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Tanner and Brock, as always.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So, and thanks everyone for
Brian,
chiming in the chat here.
Really appreciate it, man. Good seeing you.
All right. Take care.
Take care, man.
Okay, so I'm reading this a different way where he's, to me, it sounds like the challenge is I want to be able to wear 4 patterns at once as a short guy. Is that how that reads? Because that's how I'm looking at that.
How would you do that one?
I would say why? That's a stupid challenge because the payoff on that is ridiculous because like really what you're doing is you're trying to flex your ability to merge patterns in a way that only like a certain subset of sartorial guys are going to get or care about. And when you think about payoff with your style, a lot of guys, especially a lot of menswear guys, we tend to think of it as this exponential thing where it's like, oh, if I just get better and better, then the results are going to get better and better. And it's not, it's freaking logarithmic. And so by the time you're like, well, I'm actually a warm autumn and I can wear this perfect olive green. It's like, it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't freaking matter. If your fit's good, if your colors are simple, if you got a decent amount of texture and you're wearing stuff that's in the right context, you're killing it. And all of this other stuff of trying to get super advanced on it doesn't matter other than this micro tribe of guys that you're trying to impress. And so why put the energy into it when you can put that energy into other more meaningful things?
True. All right. Yeah. And on that note, Tanner has spoken and he has laid down the laws.
Sorry. Was it Rishi? I'm sorry, man. Like and I may be totally misreading that, but that's how that comes across to me. Yeah.
I would also say like on a more, I guess on like a practical note, like if you really do want to have that many different things going on in your outfit, kind of like Tanner's point earlier, look at texture instead of patterns, because even if you're like an expert, it's just hard to combine 4 patterns. I mean, you're going to look kind of crazy, but it's very easy to combine different textures, you know, so subtle patterns, interesting textures. I think that's the way to go.
Good deal. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. We're well past the hour that we had set. Tanner, as always, good to see you. And Brock, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it, guys. And,
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. And guys, if you want a coin or if did anyone ever answer what Brock's, and we'll leave the video up for a while. If you haven't gone over to Brock's website, what is he talking about in his free gift guide? Let us know in the comments and you could win a coin. If you did win a coin, make sure to reach out to us at realmenrealstyle.com or contact form where we will verify that you did win, and boom, we'll make things happen. Tanner, you look a little bit red. Did you get some sun?
I just got a little heated as we got going.
Yeah. No, you were real red.
Tanner's been training for Ironmans, and
I know it's
he's
Spartan
outside
race.
Running the hills.
It's Spartan race this year, so that's this one. Yeah. By the way, somebody on here asked. You're right. I'm not on YouTube anymore, and you could find me on Twitter and Instagram because somebody was asking where they could find me. Because I haven't. I should probably do YouTube again, but I don't anymore. You guys do such a good job of it that why?
No. So, we got, it looks like Australia down there, roaming the outback. Is
nice.
that a Karuba? What's the Karuba, the hat? The one with I have one of those with an opal stone in it. I picked up when I was in Australia. Yeah. All right, guys. Nice. Hey, and I'll keep you guys abreast if we decide to do another Menfluential or maybe 2022, something may happen, a meetup at least, right?
We got to do something. We got to do something.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
guys.
Good to see you guys. I miss you
Take
guys.
care.
All right.
Yep. Talk
Have a
later.
good weekend.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. And gentlemen, just like that, it's just me here on the channel. So really quick, wanted to share with you guys. So if you haven't checked out, add to stream. Let me see. Oh, boom. Come on. The project we got going on over at JL Rocha. These jackets, guys, I'm wearing one right now. Absolutely beautiful. If you haven't checked them out, here's the URL. joseluisrocha.com/RMRS. If you go over to the Real Men Real Style website, you'll be able to find a link as well. But these are jackets based off. So I was in the John Rivedo store in London a few years back. Loved the jackets, but they were what, $2,000. Tom Ford, same thing, was looking at those jackets. And this one right here, the one I'm wearing, this maroon, absolutely beautiful, guys. 50% off. We designed these. We built them down in Leon, Mexico. These are being made to order. So we're not going to make the jacket until you put in the order. And because you're having to wait a bit, we're offering them at 50% off. We're testing the concept. High quality zippers, which is key. That double zipper, just absolutely beautiful. And gents, if you haven't grabbed yours, so maroon, this is my personal favorite. But if you haven't checked out, I know a lot of you guys like this light brown, which is beautiful as well. I had it and I filmed it a number of videos with this one, and the gray. Now, if this goes well, we may bring the other two colors, which we were looking at. We had a blue, we had a, what was it, a green as well. Just, yeah, beautiful jacket. And what I like about this double zipper is that you can wear it right here at the middle point or even a little bit lower and give it a really casual look, kind of like zip it up like that. But gents, go check it out. Only a few more days before we close this down. And yeah, limited time offer. That's about it, gents. Wishing you the best. Thank you so much for being on here. And again, if you've got questions, double check. Let me see, look at the comments. Was there anything that I did not? What is a double zipper? Good question. Double zipper. Let's see if I can show you guys. It's got, well, I mean, kind of, you would think it's obvious, but you got the double zipper right there. And what that does when you go in, it allows you to unzip the bottom of the jacket. And so that allows you to create, I think, a much more casual look in there. So not that you would want to ever be this high. You would put the double zip down lower. And so it allows you to wear it almost like, when you button the button on a jacket. So it kind of, it keeps it slim in and around the chest area, which for me, I'll be straight up. I've got 15 pounds I would love to lose around. I'm not big, but I definitely got 15 pounds I'm working on around this midsection. Wearing the jacket like this gives it it creates that V look in the front, which is a much more masculine look. The perfect fit, we provide all the details over on the website, exactly what the measurements are, so that you can make sure to choose the right size that gets the perfect fit, and we'll make the size to your build. Any mission fragrances? Well, good question. What are my fragrances at? They're over here. I've approved the fragrances. We are in production with Mission Fragrances. So I'll be emailing you, Will, separately, the whole list over at Mission Fragrances talking about that. But Antonio, what is my height? I am 5'9", 15. Sitting on the train. Let me see any mission. Let me see. That's cool. And the material is suede for the jackets, by the way. What, Antonio, did I offend you? No, Rinchi, you didn't offend me. What are the coins? The coins are made out of not gold, but what are the coins? They're challenge coins. So if you don't know the story of challenge coins, this is something that you carry it with you, and this one challenges you to become a better man. Become the man you know yourself to be. The idea of the challenge coin in the story goes, during World War II, certain aviators would carry these coins as a form of identification. If you were shot down over enemy lands, basically the idea was you could show that coin to resistance fighters who would identify you as being part of a unit. And I mean, if they probably couldn't tell because of your accent, but that's the way the story goes. Military units now around the world use these challenge coins to signify when you were part of a unit. I know police officers, firemen collect them as well. So it was something I wanted to take from my time in the Marine Corps and bring to Real Men Real Style. These are free, but you could only win them. I don't give them. I don't sell them. I don't give them. But they're only things that you can get if you're an active member at Real Mint Real Style. So leave comments, engage with our videos, and we always try to give ways that you can win the coins. Like the coins with all your followers. I offered you a challenge, but no challenge coin because you didn't answer my challenge. No coin. Oh, I see how it is. Okay. And you are welcome, Mike. Mike, good to have you. Akubra. I've got my Akubra over there somewhere. But that's it, guys. Take care. I'll talk to you later. Let's make this thing disappear. Can you still hear me? The sound may be out there. Yes. Can anybody still hear Antonio talking? I may have to remove myself. Let's figure this out. Yes. Antonio with technology. Bob the Hat King, I see you. Kronos, Cyberpunkos. I like that name. Felipe Kovacic. Yep. See you out there. All right. I guess I should turn this off before I head to the bathroom. All right, guys. Take care.